This first one right here, this is just kind of an overview of how to work with us. We're set up a little bit different than possibly a lot of other providers. We base our support where the customer is located, not where the agent is located. So we work based on the customer's headquarters. So we have 8 major markets in the Midwest that we provide fiber for. And in each of those markets, we have a team. We have an RVP over each area, and then they have account directors, engineers, they have a full team built underneath them. So when you guys send a quote over to us, it will come to acsquotes@upnfiber.com. That distro comes into, I believe, 4 people. Mike and I are 2 of them, and we'll grab that quote as soon as we get it, and then we'll vet that quote. We'll figure out where the customer's headquartered, and get that over to the right team to make sure that you guys are being taken care of just right out of the gate and supported by the correct team. So like you may have worked with one team before, and if you send a quote request directly to them, nobody's going to reach out and be upset about it, but it'll probably come back to the distro and then go back out just to ensure that it gets to the right place. And then you've got mine and Mike's contact info here as well. So if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to us directly as well. So this is just kind of an overview of who we are. We're fiber. We're really strong in the Midwest. We're headquartered in Kansas City, Missouri. We've got several major market areas and with over 7,000 on net and over 110 near net buildings with over 10,000 fiber miles. And then you see, oh, sorry. I just totally bounced this backwards. I bumped my mouse. Not some days where I should not be allowed to be in charge of the slideshow. Okay. So then these markets are, as you see right here. So this is what we offer. We have dark and lit fiber. We have internet access, data center services. We do customized solutions. We'll take those solutions, our team will really, when they need to really just talk it through with the agent or the customer, they'll go through the whole thing and really figure out the solution and make sure that this thing's fully baked before they even start to move on any sort of installation or anything, so that we're not halfway through the process and then realize, well, this isn't going to work. We need to back up and try this. And they really put a great solution together before they move forward on it. Then you can see here, these are our major markets. We've got Albuquerque and Dallas and Denver and kind of a handful in Colorado, Denver, Grand Junction, Pueblo, a couple of major Iowa spots, Des Moines and Cedar Rapids. We are great in Lincoln, Nebraska. We've got a handful of Texas markets and Little Rock, Arkansas, which, believe it or not, that area is really kind of starting to pick up and take off. Some of the things that really set us apart, one thing that we're really proud of is we call it the 398s. As you see right here, we have a 98% customer retention rate. Our customers stick around. We take care of them. We make sure that they're happy, that their service is working, and they stick around, which in turn makes agents happy because they're getting paid on an evergreen commission. So when the customer's happy, the agent's happy. We also have a 98% customer satisfaction rate, which kind of goes hand in hand with that. And this is something we actively send out surveys to our customers on. So we're not just making this up. Those are actual survey results that our customers are happy. And a 98% installation, on-time installation. We have our own team that does the installations, and these are the same teams if down the road, if the customer has an issue and calls into our knock, we can get a truck rolling immediately to go out if they need that in person, and it's likely going to be the same person that installed the service. So somebody's going to come out there and know exactly where they're going, what was done in the beginning, and be able to pick it up right there and move forward on that repair rather than have to backtrack and figure out, where does this fiber come in? What did they do? So that's kind of a nice thing, and that kind of is what helps keep us with that on-time installation as well, that these are our own employees. They're not just contracted installers in each region that we call. These are UPN employees. Then this next one, these are just kind of a little checklist of some of our differentiators. Obviously you guys can read through the list, but just to kind of hit on a couple of them, we're all business grade internet. We don't do residential customers. We don't want the office on the corner to be fighting for internet service from the teenagers half a block down that are pulling up some of their internet, or grandma trying to read her email. So it's all business services. It's dedicated fiber, symmetrical up and down. We also use the access ring topology, which I think is a really, really great differentiator because it kind of gives you a point of diversity. instead of just the ring around the city or the metro area, we do multiple rings that will hook into all of our fiber and everywhere we provide, so that if there's a cut in that or that fiber goes down, it allows for that service to back up and change directions and come in from the other side. So right off the bat, without putting a second circuit in, that already gives your customer some diversity on that service. And then here's our network map. This is just pretty simple. It just kind of outlines what we went over on that slide a couple of slides back. This just shows you our major markets and our long haul fiber routes and our leased network as well. Kind of breaks it down, the buildings and the fiber miles that we have. It just kind of gives you a visual for what was spelled out a couple of slides back. And then this is our territories. This is where our major markets lie, and this includes the RVP for each one. So these are the people that are over each of these markets. And like I said before, they each have a team in each one of these markets, and they're very well built out teams. They're tenured. They're great at what they do. These are also our direct people. We've built this channel to completely eliminate any channel conflict. So we've kind of trained our direct sales team on the channel rather than just stack these markets deep with competing people within the same business. We decided that rather than stick a channel manager in each market to compete with our direct sales, that it would work easier, especially for these kind of some of these smaller Midwest, more laid back regions where everybody kind of knows everybody, that it would work better for everyone involved if we can just use the same person for everything. So we've kind of channel trained our sales team, gotten them channelized and up to speed on how the channel works. And with that, we've eliminated channel conflict. If we have somebody in Kansas City that's kind of trying to get into a customer and all of a sudden there's an agent there, they're not going to try to push the agent out. They're going to work with the agent. And so you don't have to worry about our direct team, someone coming in and finding some information on the customer and stealing it from the system and going and trying to take that customer, because they don't take a haircut at all. They are not incentivized to cut a partner out of a deal. We work really closely with our direct team, and it just kind of harmoniously rolls along. So that was one thing that really made me want to come to work here when I started here, was because I have worked for companies and I've watched channel conflict before, and it's not pretty. So the fact that we can avoid it completely is one of, I think, our best differentiators. So that was my last slide. I promised we would keep it short and sweet, and I don't want to kill anyone and bore you to death with PowerPoint, but if anyone has any questions, or Mike, I don't know if your audio is working yet, if you want to jump in and add anything at this point.
You tell me if it's working. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. I've had some major computer issues today, so I apologize for that. But Stacie was just talking about kind of channel conflict, and what we've designed here is really channel harmony. When I came in and built this channel, one of the things I wanted to do was take that 4-letter word out of our industry called channel conflict, and we have a very mature, very up the stack, very tenured actually sales force out there. We've got about 35 to 40 salespeople in the company. And when I started thinking about, hey, should I put a channel manager in these markets? I really asked a lot of questions of the market leaders and the local folks. And a lot of these relationships that our sales folks have with local partners are long-standing relationships. And I didn't see any reason to come in and flip over the apple cart and put a channel manager in there and force them to work with somebody that they didn't want to work with, right? Or hadn't worked with for years. So, this whole idea of by the way, our partners absolutely love it. They love the idea that they don't have to be afraid to work with us. We're always going to engage them. We're always going to engage the agent. And as a result of that, we've had amazing success. I started this channel about, I guess it was the beginning of COVID. It was February of 2020. We quadrupled our numbers with partners in our first year, and Stacie and I are already sitting at 148% of our number for this year, and that's after a 75% increase in our quota last year. So we're in a hockey stick trajectory right now because the partner community, I think, has been very interested in working with us. Just we weren't always so channel friendly, if you will, and that's changed dramatically in the 18 months or so that I've been here and that Stacie's been here. So we're easy to work with, easy to do business with, all those things that you kind of want to hear, but we actually do deliver on it. So that's kind of my comment on that, Stacie. I'm glad you guys can hear me again. I apologize.
Does anybody have any questions on any of those?
Stacie, you mentioned earlier you guys provide customized solutions. Could you elaborate an example of what that would look like?
Mike, now that you're talking, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that I think lends itself to those 98% numbers, right? The 98% on-time delivery, 98% customer satisfaction, and 98% customer retention rate is the fact that I've never seen at any company. I've worked at Cogent, Colt, Fiberlight, Lumen. I've never seen so much attention to detail on the front end of a sale ever, any place I've ever worked. When we design a solution for a customer, a lot of times, because there's some level of construction in almost everything that we do. And the way we go about that, like we know exactly what's going to happen every step of the way along a delivery. So if a customer, for example, wants to avoid a particular carrier or avoid northeast, southwest entrance into a building, we'll build into the building wherever they want us to. And all that's on the front end. Our sales engineers are top notch here, and just the whole design portion of the quote. Like you guys will ask us for a quote and we'll provide a quote, and then we'll get into the design of the network and make sure that it's custom designed for exactly what the customer is looking to do, whether it's avoid something, engage with something, so anything of that nature. We do a lot of custom builds. Does that answer your question?
That does. That's great. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect. Any others?
Yeah, hi, PJ. Thanks for both of your time today. So I am working an opportunity, or going to be working an opportunity with your Arkansas team, and the opportunity for going type 2 has come up. So how does that work commission-wise going type 2?
So at UPN, we only pay on the on-net portion of the circuit. So we don't pay commission on type 2. If that answers your question, it's just black and white, it's easy. And I know those guys were having because Stacie and I were on the phone with the Little Rock team earlier today, and I believe they were talking about the opportunity you're working on, and they were exploring some type 2 options. What we generally like to do, though, by the way, we really don't do a lot of type 2 because we prefer to build. That's how we've built out our network, is by building our own fiber to our customers. Sometimes we will put in type 2 and build to get there, and then we'll bring the customer on net, and that'll change your commission.
Okay, and so zero commission will be paid for any location where you're not pulling in access?
No, just on the type 2 piece, right? So yeah. So if there's a last mile component that's not ours, that we've leased, we don't pay on that portion, but we'll pay on the port.
Got it. Exactly how Cogent did it.
Yeah. Very similar, yeah.
Great. Any other questions?
So other than I kind of took a look at your bullet points of products that you have, but aside from just like internet, point to point, layer 1, 2, 3, do you guys offer MPLS? Do you offer any voice?
So no on MPLS. We're launching SD-WAN, and we launched our voice product last year, and our voice product is a white labeled product. So the way the company kind of views voice is that it's in our world, in our language internally at UPN, we consider it a type 2 product, right? Currently today, we're not paying on voice. However, I've actually got that on the table with our finance team, because what I've done is I've gone back and we've analyzed every voice deal we did over the past 8 months or so that we've had the product, just to analyze the margin in the business, right? Because we delivered the service because we stood up the service because we didn't want to lose fiber deals. But what we don't want to do is lose fiber deals to partners because we're not paying on voice, right? So it's come up with a couple different partners, and I've actually brought it all the way up to our CEO. So we're in discussions. I'm working with our vice president of finance and our president on how we can compensate voice. And where I'm leaning, I'll just give you a peek behind the curtain. Where we're kind of leaning, and you can't share this with anyone because not even the internal people know, is just paying a slightly lesser commission on voice than we do on our data services that are obviously much higher margin. So the idea is pay on voice, like let's pay on voice, but let's do it to the tune of 10% maybe, some percentage that is tolerable from a margin standpoint on that product. There's a lot of moving parts with it, to be honest. But as the head of the channel, I want to pay you on voice, and that is my mission to make it happen. So we just haven't had enough data really yet to kind of analyze it, but we do now. So we're in the mix of it. And as soon as we do, you'll be the first to know, because we want you guys to sell it.
That's awesome.
I mean, we're at 148% of our number for the year, but we're not happy about that. We want to be higher.
I'd say you can easily make that 300 if you stay on course. So congrats to you and your team. Regarding the markets that you're within, do you offer co-location if you're to any customers?
You mean the data centers
Yeah.
stuff like rack and stack? No, that's not really a product. We have one data center. I can't remember exactly where it's at. We just don't sell it. It's it's not a core competency for us.
So on the SD-WAN aspect, who have you partnered with in that regard?
So we're launching it. I think they're down to two vendors, and I'm not sure exactly where they are with it. So I don't want to say. But yeah, it'll be essentially a white label product.
You think it'll be pretty easy just to add on to DIA quotes, etc.? Will you be able to provide matrix for different throughputs for different SD-WAN equipment?
Absolutely, that's definitely the idea. That's what we're trying to do. And again, you'll hear about that as soon as we get it out there. What else? Anything else? All right. Stacie, is this the last slide?
Yep, that was the last slide. Those were good questions. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, so Stacie mentioned, before we like to engage, with our partners on opportunities. So by all means, get us involved if you have something big. I know that Arkansas opportunity is a really nice meaty one. Bring us into those, and we'll help you, kind of navigate the path. Like I said, we're very easy to work with. as a company. We're small. I've got, everybody I need to talk to on speed dial within the company. So we can get things done pretty quickly around here.
That's great. Hey, curious, I also thought of 2 other quick questions. So when you handle install end to end, do you pull it into LAN room, server room? Or do you drop it off?
I believe that's a good question, and I'm not sure I have the proper answer for you, but I believe we bring it to the MPO.
Okay, and then leave it up to client to extend, or in that scenario?
Yeah, and we have partners, in each market to handle that. But let me get you a better answer on that. Typically, what Stacie and I do is kind of go through the rules of engagement, where we are, what we do, and then what we usually do is follow this up, this type of call up with a technical call. We don't typically get a lot of technical questions on this sort of thing, but I'd love to have another call with you guys, more technically focused.
Yeah. And then do you just provide like a handoff to clients, or do you have the option to provide a router?
We do not provide a router, so we simply hand off the circuit. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, those are my 2 quick questions.
Hey guys, I just want to remind you that all their buildings are in fiber lookup, both the near net and on net. So you'll see them in the market. And I believe the KMZ file, the network path, should be up by next week. You'll start seeing their network path as well.
Yeah, so definitely, I know you get, I get it, right? Most providers struggle with builds. When I came here, and I was actually interviewing for the job, that was one of the things I really wanted to be clear on is our build success rate. And I'll tell you, I'm knocking on wood right now, but in the nearly 18 months that I've been here, literally have not had one escalation from a partner or a customer on an install. And a lot of that has to do with that pre-sales process that we go through. We have a local regional operations vice president in each one of our markets, and we are just stellar at delivering these services within a build. So the 10,000 or the 110,000 buildings that are listed on the near net, I think it goes, if I'm not mistaken, those go out to 2,500 feet off the network. That's how many buildings there are, up to 2,500 feet off the network. Think of us for everything inside of that range. Like I said, we deliver 98% of the time on time, and there's a good reason for it, right? We know what we're doing in these markets, and they're all very different, right? I mean, that's the nature of the beast. All right. Well, glad to hear the buildings are in there. Again, if you guys have any questions about anything, reach out to Stacie or I. We'll be happy to engage with you and get you set up in the right market based on the opportunity.
Thank you both for your time today.
You bet.
Thank you guys for your time as well. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.